Confidence doesn't begin on the first tee. It begins with how you move and how you think. Welcome to the 8-week Golf Edge for Women. Welcome everybody to episode 6, Your Worth and Your Opportunity. Hi, I'm Janis Thornton with JT Fitness and Golf, and I have SL Gillespie with the Golf Advantage for Women.
Hello.
So today, episode 6, we're going to talk about some money mindset. We're going to talk about your worth, your opportunity, and how you treat your body on game day says everything. Because it is important, think about your day. When your day starts out, everything's flowing smoothly, how good you feel for that day. Think about that day when all of a sudden you start getting phone calls or text messages, kids, things all of a sudden start just being this craziness, how you feel. You typically not very good. You feel a little discombobulated. I want to help you be very combobulated, I guess, to be ready for your golf round for that day. So, think about, do you have a business connection that you're meeting with on this golf round? Is it more of a networking for you, or is it a relationship building round of golf? Everything you do that morning either sets you up to show up as your best self, or it's going to work against you. And your body is your vehicle for every opportunity on that course. So definitely treat it like one. So let's actually talk about what to eat before your round of golf. You got to remember, golf is a 4-hour athletic event. So you do need to fuel like one. You actually want to eat a real meal an hour and a half to 2 hours before you tee off because you need energy to go play golf. So what works well are going to be obviously complex carbohydrates for sustained energy, like an oatmeal, whole grain toast, fruit. You want to have some lean protein to keep you stable. So you're going to want like hard-boiled eggs or have eggs for breakfast, some Greek yogurt or nut butter. You want things that are easy to digest. Nothing heavy, nothing rich, because the last thing you want is to need to use the restroom on the golf course. So make sure that you have small snacks on the course also, and eat something every 4 to 5 holes to keep your energy and focus steady. Especially like when we're recording this is in July. I live in Arizona. It's important for me to make sure, and anyone who lives in hot climates in the summer, is that you are fueling yourself throughout your round of golf, because that heat can actually drain you very quickly. So make sure you have nuts or banana or protein bar that you can actually eat every 4 to 5 holes, because you don't want to let your blood sugar crash. Because when your blood sugar starts to go down, so does your patience. You will start to lose your focus. You lose your emotional resilience when it comes to when you start getting hungry. Hungry golfers make bad decisions and on and off the course. And like my friends know that I get very hangry and they call me the gremlin. They're like, do we need to feed the gremlin? Is what they will say to me. And I'm always like, yes, who has some snacks for me if I didn't bring enough? The next thing you want to make sure is that you stay well hydrated and start hydrating the night before, not on the first tee. Before you get your round even started, aim to be well hydrated before you even get to the course. So what does that mean? Have at least 30 to 40 ounces of water before you get there, and particularly with electrolytes, especially in the summertime. It's okay to have a cup of coffee, 6 to 8 ounces. However, don't make it a 20-ounce Starbucks full sugar coffee, because guess what? You're going to have a sugar crash, and that is a lot of caffeine. And most people actually get very jittery on the course if they drink too much caffeine. But do keep
Janice,
it.
I
Yes.
apologize. Can I just jump in here for 1 second? Because
Yep.
this is something that with the water, specifically, I wanted to mention the hydration. Um, because when I used to work with golfers outside, this was something that it was like night and day on how being hydrated would affect them. So when you have, like, we're electrical beings, right? We have electricity running through our body. That's why when you have a heart attack, they give you the zap, right? With the paddles to bring you back. So when you have a thought, a brain, there's a little spark in the synapse. So And water is a good conductor of electricity. So that's one of the reasons why being hydrated is so important, because you're going to be able to think more clearly and literally have more brain cells that are working in order to make good decisions. And yet, so as again, like that's it's such a it's a bit of a trivia thing, and yet it's so important that it the reason why actually that the hydration supports your brain function. And
Mhm.
it's because of the thought process and how that works in your brain.
Yeah, excellent. And I was just gonna say, like a dehydrated body fatigues faster, you think slower because you like your brain needs the water.
Yeah.
And you get frustrated more easily. And I think people don't realize when we are dehydrated how significant our bodies decrease and what the capabilities it has. And like I said, in Arizona or any area that you live that has significant heat, um, it's really survival. It's so easy to become dehydrated, have heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and for sure you do not want that. I actually had heat exhaustion in my 20s playing tennis when I lived in Oklahoma. And I can tell you to this day, I have to be very careful because I am more susceptible to heat exhaustion now. So I carry wet towels with me when it's super hot. I am constantly putting my hands in the ice in our cooler just to keep myself cool as I can. But do make sure that you are sipping water consistently throughout the round. Don't wait until you are thirsty because then it's too late. Because then that's when you can lead to the heat exhaustion and heat stroke. So just some things not to do the morning of. Always have breakfast, so don't skip breakfast. Even if you're nervous or rush, try to have some kind of fuel going.
Excuse me, what?
Oh, do your best to have do your best to have breakfast, even if you're nervous or rushed.
There we go.
Um, don't do anything new. So no new foods, no new supplements, no new routines on a day that you're playing golf, because again, you don't know how that newness is going to affect you when you're out there. Don't have excessive caffeine, like I talked about. One coffee is fine. A small 6 to 8 ounce coffee is fine. Three is not your friend on the back nine for sure. Um, don't skip sleep to fit in extra prep. A tired brain cannot perform under pressure. And make sure that you are doing your warm up. Your warm up is so important. Showing up 5 minutes before your tea time is not the best. It's not the best strategy. So you have to plan. If you have a 10 o'clock tea time, tell yourself, okay, I want to get there by 9:15 so I can warm up, get the lay of the land, especially if it's a new course that you've never played. You want to get the lay of the land. You got to get your cart, set all that, everything set up. So then plan, okay, if I want to get there by 9:15, 9:30, what time do I have to leave my house so I can get there? So always have that ready. Um, don't ignore what your body is already telling you. So if something felt off yesterday, pay attention to that today. Do you need to do an extra warm up? Were you a little stiff and sore from the day before for whatever reason? Always listen to your body. But there's ways that you can protect your body during an important 18 holes. You can walk and stretch between shots. Don't just stand and wait. Do keep yourself moving. You can rotate your shoulders and swing your arms loosely between holes. Like I have an electric cart that I use when I walk, and I am always like I'll be moving my arms or doing shoulder rolls back or anything that I can do to keep myself loose while I'm walking. But in the heat, sit down when you can. So if I'm waiting during my round and I have someone who's with me who's riding in a cart, I go sit in their cart with them and chat with them, just so I can conserve some energy. Definitely protect your back when you are getting in and out of the cart, but also do some stretches on the cart. Use that cart to stretch with. I do it all the time. And if something starts to nag you, acknowledge it early. Don't wait till hole 15 to address it. So if you need to do some extra stretches, do so. Because especially if you're waiting for the group in front of you, I have my friends and I were stretching all the time on the golf course. So your goal is to finish the round feeling as good as you started. because the conversation after the round is what matters as much as the round itself. So, here's what nobody really talks about. They don't talk about how to treat your body before, during, and after a round. And you want to make sure that before the round that you're prepared, that during the round that you're keeping yourself up and healthy and alert, and that you're not worried about 20 other things. And then even after the round, that you might do some light stretches before you go into the 19th hole for a conversation, or that you just make sure that you are really calmed. You've taken care of yourself during that round, so that way you're ready for that conversation after. But women who show up prepared physically send a message. You send a message to yourself, but you also send a message to everyone around you that you are ready for whatever this opportunity is, that you belong, you're ready, and you can be taken seriously. And that is what you want. So game day prep is not complicated, but it is intentional. Eat well, stay hydrated, skip the things that work against you, protect your body so you can carry it throughout the 18 holes and the conversation that follows, because that's probably the most important, because the opportunity doesn't end when you walk off the 18th green. Sometimes that's where it really begins. So
Yeah.
Estelle, over to you, my friend.
Oh my goodness. Again, there was just like so much good stuff in there. And I'm very proud of myself. I only interrupted you once.
You can interrupt me anytime.
Yes. Okay, so Janice just walked you through exactly like how to prep your body, the morning of a round, like what to eat, how to hydrate, what not to do. And I want to pause on something she said because it matters more than it might seem. And that's like preparing properly takes intention. It takes time. It might mean, buying different foods, adjusting your morning, investing in the right gear or the right program. And for a lot of women, the moment that any of that costs something, I'm talking to you, whether it's time, money, or energy, that's the little voice. I was doing the little voice. So a little voice shows up and says, like, oh, is it really worth it? Is this really for me? And that voice, like, that's not logic, that's a money story. And it's running more than your morning routine. And this is part of the point I want to make here. Like, every time you invest in your physical game, whether it's a fitness program, working with Janis and being a part of her community, a lesson, or even the right shoes, like a round of the course that intimidates you a little, like, you know what? You're making a statement about what you believe you're worth. And what you believe you're worth determines how far you're going to go to show up being ready. So the takeaway all from this is just really like taking care of your body for golf. Like it isn't indulgent. Like consider it's professional preparation. Like if you're using business or if you're using golf rather for career and business building, like this is professional preparation. You wouldn't show up to a meeting and not be looking and feeling your best and do the exact same things, right? Good food, you're getting there on time, you're like looking after yourself. So you're showing up as your best self. And the women who show up physically ready, they made a decision, and probably more than once, that they're worth preparing for. So
Well,
now let's just,
I just
yeah,
want to jump in
yeah,
on like the clothing and the
yeah,
shoes. Because think about it, if you're going to a board meeting, you're going to make sure that you are dressed well, you have good shoes. Same with golf. But here's the fun thing for golf. It's cute clothes, it's cute shoes. Like, why not buy yourself
right?
some fun, cute shoes and an outfit that makes you like, I look how cute I look today. So why not? Because you're gonna love, if you feel good in your clothes, you're
Yeah.
gonna feel better about your golf game.
Absolutely. I agree for sure. Yeah. So on the money front, then let's go a little bit deeper with this because really like your relationship with money, it doesn't affect just your bank account. It affects how you see yourself professionally, how confidently you talk about your value, and really whether you use golf as a career tool or you're just continually quietly telling yourself that this isn't for you. And here's the core point at this point, like, so many women hesitate to invest in rounds. They hesitate to invest in clinics or memberships or networking events, because it feels indulgent. That's the story they're telling themselves. So like they're spending money on themselves, like in a way that they feel like they haven't quite earned yet, so they wait. They'll join when they get better. They'll invest when their business is more stable. They'll say yes to the invitation when they feel more ready. And yet here's the thing, like that story has a cost. And it's a much bigger cost than the round ever was. In business, everyone's always talking about ROI, return on investment. And this is what I want you to consider about this. So I'm like, I want to talk just briefly here, like about COI, cost of inaction, right? Like, what is it costing you to not be connecting with people who can change the trajectory of your career, your business, or your life? Because that's really what we're talking about here, right? And I know I say this all the time, and it's like if you're not in the foursome, you're not in the conversation, right? So, okay, so end of lecture, right? Because there's something else I need to talk about here. So, like, and still though, like on the topic of money and doing business on the golf course. So there's two ways to walk onto a course for a business round. And one is what we're going to call an abundance attitude, and the other is scarcity. And really, you can also think of these as give versus get. So the first woman shows up like hoping something good's going to happen. We talked about that before. She's a little apologetic about her game, a little unsure she belongs. And somewhere in the back of her mind, she's calculating whether this was worth the greens fee, right? Like, what am I going to get out of this because I invested this or I spent this money? So a second woman shows up and she's from a place of knowing, like she's knowing that she's there to build something. She's relaxed, she's curious, she's generous in giving her attention to others. And I'm telling you, like that energy is magnetic. Like people want to be around her, they remember her, they refer her. So it's the same course, same round, completely different relationship with her own value, right? So the question really that changes everything, like, do you show up to a business round to get something or to give something? Because the women who get the most out of golf for business are almost always the ones that are leading with generosity, not scarcity. Like they're not there to close a deal, they're there to open a relationship. And they know that the investment, like in the round, in the fitness, in the preparation Janice was talking about, it's what makes it possible. So this is my exercise for you today. And mine are easier than Janice's because you can do them sitting and writing. So only two questions, and you can just be honest with yourself. You don't, and of course you're not going to tell us out loud unless you want to put it in the comments. So first, like, ask yourself, like, do I show up to build a relationship or do I show up hoping for a result? And then the second question is, what would it look like to show up as the woman who already knows she's worth it? Like, not the woman you're becoming, like the woman you are right now, today, with exactly the game you have. Like, showing up in the spirit of having and giving, like, it changes everything, and like, including how other people respond to you on the course. Like, you can't out strategy scarcity thinking, right? So decide right now, like, you're worth the preparation, you're worth the investment and the round because you are. So my closing, I could go on forever on this, and yet like my closing thought for today really is, so Janice is making sure your body's ready for the opportunity in front of you. And then again, like the framework that I'm laying out for you, like it's making sure that your attitude is ready for it too. Because when a woman shows up like physically prepared and financially confident in her own value, like she doesn't just play a good round, like she makes an impression that lasts. Boom. Like,
Love it.
yes, yes,
Love that.
yes,
I'm going to add one more statement that,
yes,
or
please.
question that
Yes,
someone can ask in their round at the end. Ask that person if this is you're building this relationship with these other three people, ask them how you can help them. How can you help them with their business? What are they, who do they need to be introduced to that you might know? Because I feel like that is one of the things, even though I do fitness, I feel, and I'm a huge networker. And I love to connect people to other people. And I love being able, I think people are floored. Like, you're just a personal trainer, Janice, is what I know that they're thinking. Then I'm like, but then when they need some kind of CEO or whatever, I'm like, I've got someone for you. Let me
yes.
introduce you to so and so because I know they might be able to help you with such and such. Well, then you've just upped your ante of um, like your value for other people. So.
Oh, and so you know what? So this is so cool because you and I haven't talked about this yet. Um, and yet we're talking about it next. I actually have a challenge I'm doing with someone in addition to the Fairway to Success that I'm offering that's specifically on networking. And it's a 21-day challenge. It's going to be so much fun. And so I love what you said because yes, that is so huge in learning how to, again, use these opportunities that you have on the golf course to be doing more business and building your career. So stay tuned for that. There's my and wait, there's more.
And wait, there's more. So everyone just check out the links in the description. You can go to SL's website, you can go to my website and check us out. So we look forward to seeing you on the next episode.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.